the screws that need isolation or need the washers are when the power supply is laid out this way, it's this upper left screw and the upper left screw in this bottom chassis. So to get to those, to get to this screw, the easiest way is to take out the fan. It comes out pretty easily by removing these 4 screws. Okay, so the screws are out, and this plate in the back is loose, and you might want to take note of how it's installed so you can get it back in the same way. But basically the flange goes on the top, and the other flange it's kind of bent on the end here. This goes over here on the left. So we've got a flange on the left, flange on the top. And that's the orientation. Or you can just go by this video, and when you go to reinstall it, just to have the flanges there and there, you'll be good to go. The fan now will pop out. It's a little bit stubborn, but it will come loose, and you don't need to disconnect it. You can. The connector's down in there. It's pretty hard to, a little bit tricky to remove, but not a big deal. I'm just going to take this out of the way. Now I've got quite a bit of space to get to the other screw down in that corner. But I have found at this point it is pretty difficult to work with this together. So I usually make this loose and kind of prop it up a little bit like this. You can do it however works for you. I like to get a little extra access like that. And we are going to end up putting a washer underneath this green board with this screw going down through it. And that's why I say those tweezers are really handy. So let's do that. First, take the screw out. By the way, if you don't magnetize your screwdrivers, get one of those magnetizers for about $5 because it makes work like this go so much better. Okay, I've got a washer with my nice tweezers, and I'm going to lift up on this board slightly, and actually that's a little bit tight, so you can loosen this screw a little bit and this screw a little bit. Remember to go back and tighten them. So you can loosen that, get a finger underneath, and very carefully, with a little bit of luck, you can get this in. Oh, see, I dropped it. So, it's pretty difficult to get in. Actually, I did get it close enough where I can see it through the hole, and maybe I can push it. Oh, I can, good. Alright, so I was able to push it into place with the point of these tweezers. When you put the screw back in, you've got one nylon washer under the board, and make sure and put a nylon washer to isolate the head of the screw from the top of the board. So with a little bit of luck, you can just gently, if you don't bump it, it'll kind of stay on. You can do it like that, and now I've got basically the head of the screw, a nylon washer, the board, a nylon washer, and then the case. Okay, I've taken out the screw here and the screw here so that this board has some flexibility. And I'm going to get another washer, and it needs to go here underneath this left side. So what I'm doing is I'm looking through the screw hole to get this aligned, and I've got it aligned. I'm going to put the screw back in. so that I can pull the tweezers out and the washer will stay in place. Alright, so I've started that screw. Doesn't seem like it wants to start correctly though. Oh, okay. Alright, and then I'm also going to put a washer under the left side. You don't need to do this part for isolation because there's no connection there for the ground. The reason I do it is I want this straight with the cabinet or with the case when I'm all done. So again, I'm looking down through the hole and I see the washer right there. And again, it's a little bit of a trick, but not too difficult to get this all back together. Alright, and there's not too many turns on this when it goes back together. In fact, that's it right there. Tighten this one down. So it was only started. Okay, and let's do our test. Okay, the meter is on. Well, I still got a connection, so now if I check the minus side, look at that. There's no connection. And to make sure, we can again jumper the two case halves together because we are going to reassemble. Oops, that's not metal. We are going to reassemble this. I think they're already touching, but this way I'll know for sure. Get that under any kind of paint or coating. And we'll connect it to over here on the case. So it's all connected together like it was assembled. And there is no, it's overloaded. There is so much resistance it can't even display it. So that is an open circuit and the output is isolated from ground, and that's exactly what we wanted. Now it's just a matter of reassembling, and then after the assembly, test it again to make sure. So when you reinstall, just make sure that the wire for the fan is over here on the left side, and the flow arrow, there's arrows, I don't know if you can see them there, looks like you can. Flow arrow is pointing this way, saying the air is going to move from the outside down through this power supply that way. It's going to blow that way, and the fan's rotating this way, so the arrows need to be pointing that way and that way, with the wire over on this left side, not on the top. It might go together that way, but it's best to put it back together the way it was. That little flange, looks like I had that off video, sorry about that. So this little flange on the back of the fan, the flange over here actually is on the outside of the fan. So when it's all set up, it should be nice and flush. And then these screws will easily go through, and you'll feel them thread into that backer plate. Okay, that's back together.